Life gets in the way sometimes. It gets in the way of hobbies, gets in the way of dreams, it gets in the way of things we quietly love, but never really give ourselves permission to say out loud. And for me, that thing has always been basketball. It's taken me a long time to admit that to myself. This love I've had since I was a kid, flipping through the Mansfield News Journal's sports section. This connection to the game that never really left, even when life got busy, even when I had work, kids, responsibility, and everything else was pulling at me. But only recently, I finally committed to it. Committing to the love, committing to the grind, committing to this podcast. Round Ball Rants isn't some polished industry machine. It's not a massive production with teams and budgets behind it. It started because I had a passion I couldn't keep ignoring. This show exists because real life doesn't pause for us, but our passions don't go away either. And that's why Round Ball Rants works. It's basketball plus life, belief plus reality, the chaos, the losses, the wins, on the court and off of it. This is episode 0, and this is where the story really starts. Alright, let's start with the who. My name is Vincent Cooper, and Round Ball Rants is the part of me that I've kept quiet for way too long. For most of my life, I was the guy who loved basketball loudly on the inside. The kid flipping through the Mansfield News Journal sports section before school. The teenager memorizing rosters and stat lines like they were homework. And the adult squeezing in highlights between overnight shifts, parenthood, bills, and every other curveball that life can throw. But somewhere along the way, life started shouting louder than my passion did. Work, responsibilities, appointments, little emergencies, moments where you put yourself second, third, or even dead last. It took me years. Honestly, it took me right until now to admit how deep my love of this game runs, to say it out loud, to claim it, and even longer to give myself permission to commit to it. This podcast is me finally choosing the thing I've always loved. Round Ball Rants isn't a network show. It's not a polished corporate product. It's me. One mic, one camera, one brain, one heart, showing up every day to talk hoops the way real fans talk hoops, with emotion, honesty, frustration, joy, and context that goes deeper than the headlines. But here's the part that matters. Round Ball Rants isn't just about me. The future of this show, the direction we're building toward, is fan-driven. This isn't a one-way broadcast. I don't just want to talk at people. I want to build something where the listeners become part of the heartbeat of the show. The callers, the hot takes, the questions, the rants, the debates, the emotion, the perspectives I don't have, but you do. We're headed towards a version of Round Ball Rants where the community fuels the engine, where the takes you drop on the hotline start shaping the actual show, where your anger, your hope, your perspective, your voice fill entire segments, where fan stories sit right next to NBA storylines because both matter. I'm not building a platform to talk over people. I'm building a platform to talk with people. So yeah, that's who I am. A guy who loves basketball as much as you do, finally giving himself permission to commit to something real, and building a show with enough heart and enough space for the fans who to one day take the wheel. So if you're here for that, you're exactly where you need to be. So, now that you know the who, let's talk about the what. Because Round Ball Rants isn't just another basketball show. And honestly, if it were, I probably wouldn't be doing this. What is Round Ball Rants then? At its core, it's a daily basketball diary. Not just a recap show, not just hot takes, not just headlines. It's the emotional bloodstream of the NBA told through the lens of real life. Every episode is built around one idea. Basketball doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens in people, in stories, in moments, in momentum, in the things that shake us, break us, build us, and bounce us back. This show takes the sport we love and connects it to everything around it. The culture, the personalities, the chaos, the history, the heartbreak, and the healing. And it takes all of that and breaks it down through structure that I've spent months shaping and refining. Here's what you'll hear on Round Ball Rants. The overnight shift, last night's games, told through story. The therapy session, the segment where we break down chaos with honesty and humor. The hope files, players earning our belief one moment at a time. Fantasy Tuesday, sometimes Fantasy Wednesday, weekly Sleeper League check-ins. In the future, there will be open spots for our Round Ball Rants Fantasy Basketball League, so I hope to see you there. And then lastly, the bounce, the closer, the signature heartbeat, the part that sends you into the next day feeling full, grounded, and ready. Round Ball Rants is connection, community, consistency, storytelling, and basketball with humanity in it. It's also life with a soundtrack of nets snapping and sneakers hitting the hardwood. And the longer we build, the more this show becomes something I can't wait to share with you every morning. So, let's talk about the win. Round Ball Rants doesn't happen in a studio at noon. It doesn't happen during a perfect window of free time. It doesn't happen with a production assistant handing me bullet points. Truth is, Round Ball Rants happens while you sleep. I work overnight, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And while most people are powering down, I'm powering up. I'm writing the show in the quiet moments of a shift. I'm recording segments on breaks. I'm thinking through storylines under fluorescent lights while the world is dark outside. This podcast is literally built in the hours people forget exist. Most nights, I'll clock out, drive home with the sunrise, and then piece everything together in CapCut before the day really starts. So when does the show happen? Overnight, early morning, whenever life gives me the window. Not perfection, but it is commitment. Round Ball Rants is built one quiet hour at a time, and you'll hear that in every episode. Now, let's talk about the where. Round Ball Rants lives where real fans live. On YouTube, that's the visual home base. On Spotify, the heartbeat for daily listeners. On Apple Podcasts, coming soon. It's also on the hotline, 216-452-8813. Call in and be the voice of the community. We also respond to comments, messages, any kind of debates and conversations. That's the fuel of the show. Because Round Ball Rants doesn't just live on platforms. It lives in the people who actually show up. Their voices, their takes, their passion. That's why the future of this show is fan-driven. Because the community isn't meant to watch from the outside. It's meant to be the engine. Round Ball Rants lives anywhere and everywhere that you do. Now, the why. Round Ball Rants exists because basketball is a flow. It mimics life. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Plans break, situations shift, curveballs happen. Basketball teaches us to adjust, to adapt, to breathe, to read the floor, to keep moving even when nothing is going according to plan. It's rooted in culture. It ties us together more than it divides us. For generations, it has given the less represented a voice, a platform beyond the court. My goal is to blend this life and this sport beautifully together, to talk about basketball the way it deserves to be talked about, with heart, honesty, and humanity, because basketball saved me more times than I can count, and Round Ball Rants is my way of giving something back. And that brings us to the part of the show where we slow it down a little. Take a breath, zoom out, and look at the bigger picture behind all this grinding that we're doing. Because fantasy is fun, the NBA is fun, but the journey we're on, both for this show and for this channel, is bigger than just numbers. Sitting here on a Wednesday night, looking at week 4 behind us and week 5 staring back at us, it hits me how easy it is to get lost in the grind. Fantasy lineups, waiver moves, standing, shifting, injury alerts lighting up your phone, and then on the other side of it, trying to build this show, this channel, this entire thing from the ground up. And if I'm being real for a second, this week had me questioning myself more than usual. Not because we weren't working, but because the results didn't always look like the amount of effort that was going in. Those slow updates, the quiet views, the fear that maybe I'm talking to myself in an empty room, it gets into your head. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that during the fantasy season too. You make the right moves, you set the right lineups, and you think you're in the clear. And then your roster has a bad night, and suddenly you're wondering what you're even doing. But that's exactly why I wanted to end tonight on this note. It's a marathon, not a sprint, not a burst, not a viral moment, a marathon. Fantasy basketball is a 26-week journey. You don't win it in November. You don't lose it on a bad Tuesday lineup. You don't crown a champion off 4 good matchups. And you definitely don't tear down your build because one week felt slow. And honestly, that's the same lesson I'm trying to tattoo on my own brain with this channel. We're a month into the season, a month into daily uploads, a month into experimenting, learning, building, showing up even when the fuel tank's empty. And here's the truth I'm finally starting to make peace with. Just because you're not seeing huge growth yet doesn't mean the work isn't working. Consistency is invisible until it isn't. Showing up every day matters. Having the discipline to record when you're tired matters. Keeping your head straight matters. Not panicking when the numbers dip, that matters. Because the people who keep going when it feels slow are always the ones who's still standing when everyone else burns out. And look, it's Wednesday. We're over the hump. We've got the rest of the week ahead of us. Fantasy matchups that can still flip, a channel that's still growing, a show that we're improving every single day. That's the whole point of the bounce. Not to end on drama, not to end on stress, but to end on momentum. So if the last couple days had you doubting your lineup, doubting your team, doubting your process, hell, doubting yourself, breathe. We're halfway through the week. There's still time. There's always time. If you stay in the marathon mindset, we're building something here. It's not loud yet, but it's real. And we'll be here again tomorrow. Same grind, same focus, same commitment to showing up. And I can't wait to see you here also. My name is Vincent Cooper. This has been Round Ball Rants. And remember, it's not just basketball, it's therapy with a bounce.